Presenting your one-stop shop for SEO and virtual assistant services. SEO, GMB, link building, content creation, web design, virtual assistants, and more. Junk removal SEO experts. The best white label platform for SEOs, agencies, and freelancers.
I just want to kick this off by saying, haters, stay mad. I don't owe y'all explanations for the success I've had. Every time y'all mention me, it's 24 hours of free clout. But let's get one thing clear. William Jones runs the route. Let's go. And if the beat live, got it. I feel like I'm Google core. Got these haters so obsessed. Damn. My ranking so solid, yeah, you know they check it every test. They can't move on, can't let it go. Help them artists and campaigns and SEO pros. So should need skills to make a buck, might as well sign up. Rank folks, just try your luck. When you text us, we know survival. Talking trash from behind fake profiles. I can never be just for someone to be clowns. Mad I'm the king with the crown. My clients stay winning. My work is elite, bringing rankings and traffic and strategy. Be while y'all guessing algorithms stuck in the fog on no one with solutions. Log by log. Hey, when the haters be talking that noise, call us experts playing with toys. Bet they can match my campaign. No skills, I'm the SEO legend. I'm closing the deals. Haters gonna hiss, but I'ma keep slaying, changing businesses daily. No games, no playing. Rank Fortress is the team. We dominate, helping owners thrive while y'all speculate. Y'all go fast, haters look so lost every time y'all celebrate fake stats. Using my name for likes and views, but I don't care what trends. Cause in the end, William Jones always win. I've been a Teflon Don to SEO. Every audit, every rank prove what I know. Y'all throwing dirt, but it never sticks. I know one fixing messes and pulling tricks. These gurus with these courses and outdated hacks. Spending more on ads than they'll ever make back. Mad at my wins, jealous of my grind. But I'm too focused, no time to rewind. Real strategies, no fluff or pretense. Client CROI, y'all still hopping the fence. Don't speak on rankings if you don't understand. While you're chasing shadows, I'm building demand. Let's go. Haters gonna hiss, but I'ma keep slaying, changing businesses daily. No games, no playing. Rank Fortress is the team. We dominate, helping owners thrive while y'all speculate. Haters gonna hiss, but I'ma keep slaying, changing businesses daily. No games, no playing. Rank Fortress is the team. We dominate, helping owners thrive while y'all speculate.
What's up, guys? How are you doing today? It's a beautiful day here at Rank Fortress, and I kind of just want to introduce myself. Some of you are new to the space, SEO. Who's William Jones SEO? Who is Rank Fortress? You know, some of you have been following me for a while. Others just noticed me and they're like, you know, where have you been all my life? We have, you know, basically, I'm going to go through our story of how I got started in SEO and then all the way through how I wound up in the Philippines. So for me, I actually did not get started in SEO at first. I actually got started, if you will, make sure we got everything. Yeah, I got started in not SEO, but in Google Ads, right? First thing I ever got into was Google Ads. Most people think it's SEO. It's not. It's actually Google Ads. That was over 20 years ago. And then it led into SEO through web design. How did that happen? I went to school, Kaiser University. And then while I was in school, essentially my teacher, my professor, he said he wanted us to get clients to do a website design and get paid to do it. This is one of the first times I actually was like, holy crap, you can actually get paid to do something I was enjoying at the time, which is SEO and web design. So got a client, and then that client led a lot more clients. And so that started my freelancing journey, led me to a guy by the name of Brad. And I started doing e-commerce SEO. It was not originally local SEO. And how did that happen? So I built the website for him. He loved it. And he essentially came at me and said, hey, can you do SEO to get me ranked in my area for, you know, my company? And I was at the time, I was like, I don't even know what freaking SEO is. There's no real popular people. There's no like Craig Campbell, Chris Palmer, none of these guys. None of the gurus, etc., were online, if you will, teaching SEO like there is now on YouTube. All right. Game has changed since then. And of course, now there's lots of courses. There's lots of gurus that talk about stuff that they really have no idea about. There's a few people I would tell you to listen to. Craig Campbell being one, Chris Palmer being another, Mike Merlino being another, myself being another. There's only a few of us in local SEO that I believe know what the hell they're talking about, and I will actually show proof today in regards to that. Number two. So when he asked me that, I said, well, how much does it pay? My client, that I did web design for, asked me, how much is it? And I said, well, how much does it, pay? SEO, never heard of it. And he said, $2,000. And I said, let me go look this shit up. And I said, yes, I can do it. And I started teaching myself SEO. This is in the good old days before Google Panda and Penguin and all these little bears came out and destroyed Google. So it actually now takes effort and content and proper website structure to get ranked. Back in the day, it was just spam the Google search engines and do what everybody thinks is black hat SEO, which is not black hat, and get ranked, right? From there, I just started picking up clients and getting clients and stuff. I did go through at one point in my life, I went through a really bad divorce, lost about 30-something clients I was doing freelance for. Then obviously I met my amazing wife, Rowena Wing, Filipino, and that's where I wound up moving to the Philippines. However, before that, I wound up getting a good job at a hospital. I was doing local SEO. We outranked about 5 different local hospitals in Jacksonville, Florida for primary care, pain clinic, lung clinic, pretty much anything you can think of. We had multiple departments. Hello, Mr. Yee Yee. Appreciate you, brother. From No Limit Hauling and Junk Removal. He's also a client of mine. And we do podcasts together and shows, so just check that out. Now, from there, I got into medical SEO. I did that for about 5 to 6 years. And then I had bariatric surgery. Yes, I know it's unbelievable. I lost a lot of weight. Then I moved to West Virginia. In West Virginia, it's great where we're living. It's kind of like the province where we live at now. It's really good as long as you have work. There are certain areas in the United States that are amazing as long as you have work, as long as you have a job, right? I didn't have a job, but I did have work. I had a few clients. I had about 6 clients or so. The problem with that, I had 6 clients, 2 of them which are the majority of my income, 2 of which were paying me over $2,000 to $4,000 a month, right? So I had rent, $1,600 a month. I had a Hummer. I had a Chrysler 300, and I had a mud truck or knobby truck, and all of which had car payments on them. And essentially, I had one client click and say, "Go, I no longer need you. I want someone in house." Then I had the second one do the same thing in about the same week or not too long thereafter, right? And so what happened when that happened was it was a total game changer and totally really devastated my world, right? I wound up going into depression, and I wound up getting even suicidal at one point. Why did that happen? Because you go from making $7,000 a month, and that was just enough to pay the bills, okay? Car payments, house payment, food, and everything else. And I have my daughter, Serafina, my son, Isaiah, and my daughter, Lili, and my wife as well, okay? And I know everybody asks all the time, how did we meet? Me and my wife, I met her online, and she moved to the United States. And then eventually we moved back here. We moved over here to the Philippines. However, that's for another time, and we'll talk about that. I actually did talk about that in one of my podcasts, how me and my wife met and how we started the agency. But so I lost my 2 biggest clients, devastated. And it's what am I going to do? My Lola, my mother-in-law, says, why don't y'all just come over here? We had already bought about $9,000 of plane tickets before this happened, non-refundable. So imagine $9,000. I have about $2,000 in my pocket because me and my wife used to go to auctions. We used to dumpster dive. We used to go get things out of the trash that we could then turn around and flip and sell on Facebook Marketplace. So we were doing that, and I would go around. So we lived in West Virginia, and we'd drive all the way into DC, Baltimore, Washington, if you will, the Baltimore Beltway, and deliver furniture that I would sell on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, things that we had bought at auctions in West Virginia and Virginia, because we went to a lot of the auctions in Virginia, West Virginia, and PA. And we would have yard sales, and we'd also go to flea markets and set up booths and tables and that sort of thing. Okay. Essentially after that, like, what do you do now? You lost your job, you're panicking. And my mom and dad were in their late 60s. Now they're in their 70s, right? And it was like, I was raised Southern, where a man's word is his bond. A man should take care of himself and his family. So I wasn't about to move in with my mom and dad. So we took our trip. We'll decide what we'll do once we get there. So we get over to the Philippines, and we wound up choosing to stay. But prior to that, I had 60 something Balik buy-in bucks. What's a Balik buy-in bucks? So if none of you have ever seen a Balik buy-in bucks, is essentially, it's basically a big UPS box, but I'll kind of show you what a Balik buy-in box is. A Balik buy-in, a lot of times, is in the Philippines, will look like this. It's where, it's typical, if you will, shipping box. It's not nothing unique or anything, but a Balik buy-in box looks like about like that right here. It's just, it's just a box that you ship everything in. So we literally had about 60 something boxes of stuff, and we shipped it over to the Philippines. Takes about 3 months to get there. I had my friend take care of some things for me when we decided to do that, but then we moved over the Philippines. I had about 3 to 4 clients, and then it's like, well, at least you had 3 to 4 clients. Yeah, 3 to 4 clients, but I have a big family, and we're just, trying to make it. It's like trying to get back up on our feet. And the thing is, though, you're trying to get back up on your feet. You're in the middle of a quote unquote third world developing country. And I know a lot of people bitch and moan, and they talk about how hard it is in the United States. Well, imagine being, if you will, no food stamps, don't have that in the Philippines, don't have WIC or government support or anything like that you have in the United States. So we were truly starting on our own, trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do. And so we had those 3 or 4 clients. And right before COVID, I remember my wife, she's like, why don't you try to find more clients? You got over 20 years experience, you're not using it. Why don't you try to find more clients? So I go and find, a guy by the name of John Signey. I go into the Facebook groups. This is one of the reasons why I promote and push things in Facebook. I know what it can do. It can literally change your business and change your life. And if you do it properly with a proper mentor, right mentor. So I found my first client. When I moved to the Philippines, mind you, I didn't know what a virtual assistant was. I didn't know what a remote worker was. I didn't realize the VA capital of the world was the Philippines. We just moved, right? We came over here. And then what happened, I discovered, of course I knew sending work on Legit, Fiverr, Upwork, all these different platforms. I didn't know you were called a VA or virtual assistant or remote worker, right? That's what I mean by that. I do know what it means to freelance, because that's all I had done besides my jobs. And that's one of the ways I was able to always earn extra money. So then, of course, we're over here in the Philippines and say, what do you do? Well, my, lovely wife, she's always believed in me, and she told me, why don't you find more clients? So I found John Signey. John Signey, I found him in a Facebook group, and he essentially goes, hey, I'm looking for an SEO executive that pays 40,000 pesos a month, i.e. basically $750-ish, right? This is right before COVID. And at the time when I met John, and he's a good mentor, great friend today, and we're doing, if you don't know about it, Digital Impact Philippines in Cebu, December 6th through the 8th, with him and a bunch of other speakers. But so I meet John, and John goes, man, why don't you start your own agency? And I literally told John, said, John, I do not want to start my own agency because it's a pain in the butt dealing with all that. I just want to do freelance and get a couple of clients here and there. And so John set me up with Jack Pine, or client in California. Interesting. And then I started doing executive calls, and I would work from 11 p.m. my time to 7 a.m. and then have to take cat naps during the day. So started that. Then my daughter, around the same time, meets her now husband, Mayor. He's now a Mayor, Ben Estino, in Paglima Estino. At the time, he was not the mayor, and met my daughter. And of course, he marries her right before COVID. And then he goes, what type of business you want to start, Mom and Dad? We ain't got no money. Mind you, this is before we had air cons. We were living in a little hollow block house, and I have all these images on my Facebook. If you've never been to my Facebook page, if you want to read some of the story, it's actually some of it is on Facebook, and I pin it there so people can get to know who William Jones is. Because a lot of people will say, I want to know who William Jones is, what's his character, and who is he. So if you read through some of my story, you'll see it. But this is the little hollow block house that we were actually building on, and we were actually staying in, right? And this is Rap. This is the first single my wife had bought when she was an OFW, because when I met her, she was an overseas Filipino worker, right? Meaning she left her country, left her kid, left everybody she knew to work in Saudi for people she never met, with a language she never heard and never spoke. And she had to and then she would send money back to her family to take care of her family. This is what a lot of Filipinos will actually do, right? It's one of the things, if you will, that really makes me want to help Filipinos, right? So a lot of people ask, why am I so passionate about making an impact on Filipinos? And that would be why. So my son-in-law gives us a loan, and we start a laundry shop. You know who used to go around the laundry shop and who used to pick up the dirty laundry and from people, and who used to, if you will, pick up the dirty laundry? We would wash it. Me and my wife would wash it. And then we would deliver the clean laundry. And then also, while I was there, I would also do haircuts. That's me with my big old ZZ Top beard. This one of the barbers. And I used to do haircuts because everybody come in and wanted to have the haircut with a white dude, right? So that's a little bit of the story if you ever want to go see and read it. And so we started the laundry shop. And then from the laundry shop, we just started earning a little bit here and there. But mind you, prior to the laundry shop, we were sleeping on the dirty kitchen floor. If you don't know what a dirty kitchen is, it's outside the house, sleeping on the floor with Mickey Mouse or mice. Okay, why? Because we had no air con, and that place actually was outside, but was also screened in for mosquitoes. So I'm a big dude, and I don't like heat. Probably the wrong place to move if you don't like heat is the Philippines. But I used to live in Jacksonville, Florida as well. So I'm used to kind of the heat, but I still needed some air con. The only air con we had was the natural air outside with a fan. Okay. And then we take these tubes of ice. It basically be kind of like that big, but not that big. Tubed ice, put it in between your chest, and you're sleeping, trying to sleep, right? My daughter used to do that. Serafina. Hey, Serafina. Love you, kids. But, mind you, my daughter, my son, my other daughter, Lila, my wife, we're all in this third world country, developing country, just trying to make it. Then my daughter gets married. He gives us a loan, and we start the laundry shop. Prior to that, then once we start that, then we wound up moving into a place called Camellia Homes. We rented that. We got our first air con. Amazing. Awesome. Great. Finally get back to life, right? And then I'm picking up dirty laundry, delivering clean laundry. My wife's washing it by hand and everything, especially the whites, because she wants to make sure the clients are happy. And I'm using my marketing skills to promote the laundry shop. And we start making a little bit of money. When I say a little bit of money, we wound up saving up about $2,000 an entire year and bought something called a Baja Baja. And I know I use this term a lot, and people are kind of like, what is a Baja Baja or a tuck tuck? A tuck tuck or a trike looks a little something like this. And I'm going to show you guys so you guys can kind of know the whole story. right? These are tuk-tuks. We bought one of these jazz things. They're usually like India and Asia and the Philippines. Of course, no aircon. We didn't have a truck or anything, but my awesome son-in-law, and I share this usually whenever I'm speaking, my son-in-law gives us his truck so we can use that while we're starting back up. But so we started the laundry shop, saved up enough money just to buy one of those. So imagine, it's not like we're making a lot of money, but we used to make some pesos here and there. And I remember me and my kids and my wife would get around, we'd dump out the, change jar or where we were putting all of our change in pesos, and then we would count the pesos. And that meant a lot to me as a dad, as a father. And I know it meant a lot to it means a lot to my wife as well. It's some of the memories that we cherish, some of the fondest memories we cherish with our children. It's the times that we were struggling and getting back up on our feet. And, speaking of which, it's kind of why it's like, I tell people all the time, it's like, what do you do when people are talking smack about you? Well, it's like, were they there for you whenever you were struggling? Did they ever help you pay your bills? If not, you should probably not give a crap about what they're saying or doing, because they're not there. They've never been there. They have no invested interest in you. So, but the people that were my wife and my kids. So that's why for me, I cherish my wife and kids. My wife's the only one that's ever shown me what unconditional love really means, besides my mother, of course. Now, that being said, so we do that. And she says, why don't you start trying to get more clients? And I find John, and then John says the same thing. And right around then, COVID happens and kills the laundry shop. So now we would have been fucked really bad if I hadn't started getting more clients. Well, luckily, I listened to my wife and I listened to my friend John, and I started going into Facebook groups like we do today, and we DM or message clients or potential clients, and we're not harassing anybody. We're not saying, hey, come buy my stuff or anything like that. We're not doing hard sales. We're just saying, hey, for example, I see you're in the junk removal space. Glad to connect. And if you message me back, I'll generally say, or one of my lead generation people will generally say, hey, can you check out this free ebook for me? Or I'll do a free SEO audit for you. It's just free. And so if you tell me hell no or tell my people no, then we leave you the, bleepity bleep alone. But that is how I went from 4 clients to over 50 plus clients in less than 3 months. Right around the same time, then COVID happens, and luckily and thankfully by God Almighty, we had started getting clients. And that's the first time I really had success, and I really stepped into the, if you will, SEO industry. And then I had started to my YouTube channel shortly thereafter, started doing podcasts and interviews and talking about SEO, because then I found out once I got into SEO and getting into some of these groups, there are actual business owners. So what separates me from every other SEO is most SEOs have either not run a business. They honestly don't care about business owners most of the time. They care about getting their check. And then what winds up happening is I wind up, finding out, hey, there's these business owners. Why don't I teach them SEO? I'm not trying to sell you SEO. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And if you want to hire me, great. And if you don't want to hire me, great. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea. And so shortly thereafter, I started my own Facebook group. Why? Well, what happens with popularity and building a brand, when you start going on YouTube, you start helping people and other people see it, they tend to get jealous of it, especially if you're in the same industry. I'd built someone else's group up to about 17,000. And when I first started, they were at about 5,000. I did that in less than a year, but I did it because I was actively engaging in the group, asking questions, going live, giving free SEO audits, just helping business owners. Like the same thing that every other SEO could do, but none of them do it. There's a reason why they don't do it. They don't do it either generally because they don't know how to do it and they have someone else doing it for them. They don't know the answers to the questions because they have someone else doing it for them, because they're generally outsourcing to either Bangladesh, India, or the Philippines, right? And then most of them, like I said, honestly, more and more I got to know SEOs, the more and more I realized a lot of them do not give a crap about business owners. They just are in there for the quick buck to make their money and run. Okay. Some of them do, very few of them do. Very few. And I know several of them that do. I stay in contact with a lot of them, and they're great. And I can ask them anything. I know Chris Palmer, he's awesome. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Mike Merlino. Shout out to Holly Starks. A couple of people, Craig Campbell, that have always messaged me, DM me, and we share insights and stuff of that nature. And we're always learning, right? And we've kind of been in same masterminds and same, if you will, courses and stuff, always learning and improving. Right around the same time when I go, oh crap, business owners want to know that. So I started teaching in something called GMB Pros. GMB Pros. And this is around 2019, 2020-ish. Okay. And then I started teaching, and I was going over everything from how to do Google My Business optimization. What does Google look for? What's CTR manipulation? And I started bringing people in to teach and everything. And one of my mentors back in that time was Chase Rayner. Chase Rayner is one of the people that I learned how to do, if you will, audits. So I started doing SEO audits, looking at things and teaching, and he's really the one that pushed me into more of the teaching aspect of it. And I remember when he told me, he's like, you got to teach people the basics, like how to set up a website, how to buy hosting, what is hosting, what is a domain name, because a lot of business owners, especially blue collar guys, hey, we don't know what any of that terms is. We're not we're not technologically savvy. Most of the time you guys aren't. And then the problem with that, though, is a lot of times people, especially SEOs, and this is what we've talked about before, will take advantage of that. And this is where we're going to end that shit in this industry. Okay. So here's the thing. So I come in and I start teaching all of this, and then we blow up literally overnight. And it was like we went from 50 plus clients to well over 100 to today. I have up to 6,000 people that have ever bought from me in the past few years. So over 1,000 clients a year have bought from us. And we have several hundred on reoccurring monthly revenue that stick with us. Okay. So the whole time, what is William Jones doing? Then William say, what should I do? Should I do niche SEO, like I'm in one industry, or should I do white label SEO? Well, everybody's, what the hell is white label SEO? Is this like white people only SEO? No. So white label SEO is essentially where an agency, like any of the ones you can name in the junk removal space, I don't care who it is, name them, and I can guarantee you they're outsourcing. I can guarantee you most of the time I know who they're outsourcing to, if they are outsourcing. Because a lot of us are in the white label niche. We are very tight. We know a lot of times who they're outsourcing to, or we know who they're using. Okay. So they're outsourcing. White label SEO is where they go, okay, I sell it to you, the end user, the business owner, for $1,500 to $2,000, and throw in some Google ads or whatever, and they sell it as a package, or they just sell you the SEO for $1,500. Well, what they're doing a lot of times is they are outsourcing over to someone like India or the Philippines. The Philippines being the VA capital of the world. So they outsource over here and then pay their VA about $200 to $300 a month. And so they have literally made about $1,000 off of you when they're not even doing the work. And this is where you can also go, well, why don't they show you how to do SEO on YouTube? Why aren't these same agencies teaching it or doing any of that? The only thing you ever see them doing is podcasts where they're doing what I call talking head SEO. In other words, they talk about SEO. They try to kind of give you a general idea about it, but they don't actually know it. They don't actually do it day in and day out. They don't have their hands dirty in the industry. So white label SEOs, what we'll do, and I still do white label SEO. All right. I still have agencies that work with me. I also have clients that are customers or actually just business owners that work with me. Well, white label SEO, what they'll do, they'll sell it. They outsource it to someone like Rank Fortress. We do the work. We delivered it at the end of the month, all the reports, the backlinks, the rankings, the results, and they sell it to the end user about 3 times as much as they buy it from us at. So if I'm selling it for $1,100, they're probably getting it for $550, and then they turn around and sell it. So it's at least double to 3 times depending on who their market is. Okay. Then, of course, people hate on you or whatever. And then, I started growing our agency. We went from just me to 2 or 3 guys, and I used to have them sitting next to me. Still train people the same way. Sit next to me. I show you how to do on-page SEO, right? Actually do it with you. And then I have you do it in front of me. And then I give you a test project. And then I have you show me it. Make sure the output's good and have you do that for a while. And then I know, hey, you're good to go. You know what the hell to do. And I have a whole standard operating procedure or SOP system. I have over 200 SOPs, right? I have 200 SOPs. It's literally called the agency SOP system. And then some of you may have seen it, maybe not have seen it. But this is why I created it, was because at the time, I wish it's one of those things I wish I'd actually had when I first started. Right? I sell this whole system, right? Everything you could possibly think of, backlinks, on-page SEO, TikTok ads, LinkedIn, everything. So for example, the whole step-by-step, I even have an ebook form and video links and everything and how to do it. So I developed that for our own in-house training and system and inside GMB Pros. Right? And so I started selling. I wound up eventually not only teaching, but then I started selling my course or GMB Pros to a lot of people that just wanted to come in, and we would give them free plugins and we'd go live. I was going live 5 to 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. It was literally insane. And that's one of the ways I blew up, was I was just giving so much value to business owners. And then someone would come to us and they want us to do white label SEO or SEO, and we started doing that. Well, probably, I want to say 6 months ago, I had been reading Josh Nelson's book called 7-Figure Agency. And I'd read it a couple of times, and I got to the point, I was like, should I keep doing white label SEO? Should I quit? Should I not do it? Because it gets kind of, what happens when you do white label SEO. You're giving it to them for really cheap. Then they cause you a lot of issues because they're getting it really cheap, and they're getting it really cheap. And then on top of it, they want the best of the best of the best of everything. Imagine you want 5-star service, like you're going to the 5-star resort, but you want to pay Walmart prices. It's kind of crazy. So, and at that time, I go to my friend Xavier. So Xavier is a good friend of mine, and he's actually been, if you will, following me for a few years. If you don't know Xavier Caldera, he's wrote a couple of books as well, and I'm actually in the process of helping him with that. But so Xavier Caldera, and I'll show you guys this. You can reach out to him, confirm anything I'm saying, but Xavier Caldera, he's been sending clients to me for several years. And then I go to him, I say, hey, Xavier, can we talk? And he says, sure. We get on a call, and I'm just like, hey, I'm really considering not doing white label SEO as much anymore. I'm considering focusing on a niche. And I was kind of thinking junk removal, but I don't know. What do you think about this? And Xavier told me it would be an amazing idea, I think. You know why? And I was like, no, I don't know why. I don't know why. I kind of like I see people doing junk removal SEO, just like tree services and roofers, and I didn't know much about it. We rank people. That's all we do. You come to me, you order the stuff, we rank you. That's all I know. That's all I've been doing for years. And Xavier says, well, here's why it's a good idea. He said, I know people, personal friends, many of which use some of the people that are SEOs in the junk removal space. Some of the top ones. You can name all three of them and every one of them. And he was like, the thing is, there are people using these SEOs and they're not getting results, but yeah, they're paying anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. I have a guy just the other day, he's out in Denver, and he told, not Denver, but Denver, but he's in Colorado Springs. And he said in the past 5.5 years, he had spent over $100,000 with JRA with no results. And so this is where I go, well, the GeoGrids, looking at the maps. When I say no results, you're not in the top 3. Not that they're not doing anything. It's that they're not getting top 3 map results. And so I tell Xavier, since you really think junk removal? And he's like, yeah, because, a lot of the business owners are just getting screwed over. Thank you, David Carter, for confirming that. David, you're out in Baltimore. So, and then he tells me this, and I said, what's funny is some of these guys, and yes, I have receipts, used to outsource to us when they first started, and then they got their own VAs or their own team, and they were outsourcing. Yep, it's story time. And David said, I spent so much money. Tell us, David, just for example, how much money did you spend, and what city and state are you in? And if you would like it, I can even do an audit for you as well. David and me, you've been talking to me back and forth, so whenever you can, just rebook your call as well. But so he tells me, Xavier tells me, yeah, I think you should. And what's funny is one of the guys at minimum could tell you, one of the biggest ones, he's also speaking at an event, is used to be an old student of mine, also used to outsource to Rank Fortress. And then he stopped around 2023 or 2022, 2023. I do have all the receipts, and I do have all the emails back and forth. None of this stuff is like news to anybody. It's 1,000% true. It's just I don't want to embarrass anybody. Okay. And so I go, okay, I'm going to start going after junk removal. And I already had a couple of clients, and I was already getting results. I created standard operating procedures just for the junk removal niche. Everything from, if you will, site maps and how many pages you need and the off page and everything. Thank you, David. So yeah, you've spent at least 20 to 30,000, and you are from Baltimore. That's what I thought. I used to live in Baltimore, brother. That's one place I'll never go back to. My ex still lives there. But nevertheless, that's typical. Imagine how many trucks are you running, David? How long have you been in business? And $20,000 to $30,000 for SEO, and you got no results. It's ridiculous. I literally just had someone else telling me, and I know Mr. Yee talks about this too, is like, telling them, hey, I dominate my area with Google ads, and I'm not even doing organic. And then you go look them up in SEMrush. Bitch, you're lying. You're not even doing any Google ads, number one. And then number two, you're not dominating. You're nowhere to even be found except in your backyard. Okay. So I start getting into SEO, and we're just getting our clients results. And Xavier introduces me to a guy by the name of Andrew. And then David, I appreciate it. I've always wanted to use you, William, before you even came into the groups. I appreciate that. Hit me up, David. And then once we get off this live, I'll do a call with you if you have time. I know it's getting late in Baltimore. I don't know why you're up, bro. It's 2:26 a.m. where you're at. It's 2:26 p.m. here, but appreciate you watching. Appreciate the engagement. So we started doing some junk removal. Then Xavier introduced me to someone by the name of Andrew Thompson from Jedi Junk. And Andrew, he also runs Autopilot. And then Andrew brought me on podcast, and I signed up several, if you will, junk removal clients. And just, if you do the audits, and I look at all these audits, I'm just like blown away. So one of the ways I can find out clients or looking at who's actually doing their SEO or did their SEO is a lot of these guys, and you probably noticed it, they'll put in the bottom, thank you, baby. Says William always likes helping, not always about money. Yep. Because if it was about money, I'd only take on 10 clients and not have a huge team and not try to make an impact. But we're about making an impact and transforming the lives of those around us. So, which I appreciate my team. And I said this the other day, it's just like, at least I know my wife's got my back, my team's got my back, everything like that. But one of the things I posted the other day, it's like my motto to live by, to tell people, it's like, I want to make an impact, which means living my life with an intention, with the right mindset and with a purpose, creating action and consistency, which will lead to transformation. You love how I call these guys out, William. They're fake gurus, and it's the bottom line. I don't even want to give them any attention, really, but it's a matter of, if you look at anybody's website, drop your website. We haven't rebuilt it, David. I don't know if you use whoever you use, but go to the bottom of the website. They always put their little logo, lead with purpose. That's right. You look at the bottom of their website, and what happens is you go and see who's actually built someone's website. So they have backlinks on all their clients' websites. And one of the things you can do, you go, all right, so let me pull up in SEMrush and see how many junk removal clients this person has. Right? And then I go and literally, little old me, I just go, let me look at these clients and let me see how many of them are ranking. That's the only thing I do. And mind you, this is just, anybody can do this crap. I'm going to hide their name so no one sees who they are. But if you're on this list, you already know, right? So, and this is what we're looking at when I got in the junk removal space. This is why I got in the junk removal space. I got in the junk removal space because Xavier told me, hey, business owners getting fucked over, right? By they're getting screwed over by everybody else, right? They're getting screwed over by other so-called SEOs. And reality is they are, getting screwed over. So that's why business owners get mad. It's not a matter of, if you will, I'll show it like this. You get haters that come in on lives. I don't care. Come on in, buddy. The thing is, people will say stuff on a live, or they'll say stuff, but they will not say it in person. Like this guy, get a life. Yeah, get a life. Whatever. Fuck you. $5,000 for a website. I'm just the guy that I don't play any of this BS fake crap, right? I will call your ass out in a heartbeat. But for example, this is a list of one of their, if you will, lists of all the backlinks from all the clients he built. And if you look at this, you're like, okay, surely at least 10% are in the top 3, right? We already picked up several of them as clients. We already knew some of them going to the expo. But so, for example, this one, not in the top 3. We got how many in the top 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 out of 170 clients. You're kidding me. And this is the type of stuff I could literally go through every single one of these, and that's always what it's like. Every time we look at it, Same stuff every time. And it's like no one's getting the results that they need and they deserve, right? And we look at every one of them. I did every one of them that way. $5,000 for a website like this crap. Like people come in and buy a website from someone like me or from another white label provider, and they'll buy it for, $400 and turn it around and sell it to a bunch of gullible business owners for, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And then the business owner feels like they're getting raped over, and people wonder why. So here's another list. Let me show you this one. Same thing. And lo and behold, what are they always fucking building in? Sometimes WordPress, but every one of the Duda sites, generally speaking, I found, most of the time they don't rank. Sometimes they do. This guy's already a client. This guy's already a client. This guy, we've already picked up several of these as clients. So, but out of all of these, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 54 so far. And I haven't put the numbers up for the rest of this, but I can guarantee you, not ranking most of the time. And that's not even, just a little over 10%. Little over 10%, and that's what's crazy about it. And everybody knows these guys in the junk space, every single one of them. And it's like, why are you guys using them? And it's like they're pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, and kind of it's like, what happened to him? I don't know. I never heard of the guy until he came in junk space. Everybody's telling he did whatever. I don't know. Don't know him, never met him. Next one, let's look at another one. So this is one of the big guys. So we've already pulled some of these as clients, but let's say out of all his 1, 2. So far out of all the audits we've done, 2 out of 36. And what terms are we going for? We're not going for for example, what term are we going for? It's usually junk removal or junk removal near me. That's what we're going for. This is the term you should be going for. Junk removal near me. You shouldn't be going for some long ass tail keyword, but you're not ranking. And yet these guys, every single time, these are the guys robbing everybody, So I just kind of wanted to show you guys some of this, kind of let you know what my story is as far as how I got started in SEO, how did I come to the Philippines, and we'll get back to it in a second, but go through one last one. So, and these are all the 4 people most people know in the junk space. We got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 46. Pretty pathetic when you look at a lot of it. So just wanted to show you guys that. So that's kind of why I got in the space. When me and, if you will, Xavier talked and he showed me this, I was just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me that these people are paying $1,500 plus a month and not getting rankings. It's like being robbed. Everybody's just being taken advantage of. And so, and mind you, I do specials where I say, hey, I'm going to give you 15% off or 50% off. It just depends. Once in a while, I'll do them. Me and Andrew did one where I said 50 off. And I do, even to today, it's like if you buy 3 months, you get 15% off. Or if you buy 6 months, you get this off, right? So give me 1 second. I'm just looking at something. Okay. Having slow internet today. But so I run those specials. And then the other thing, so a lot of people ask me, so for example, David, why people ask me, they'll be like, what separates you? You're just another SEO guy. You're just another SEO guru up here talking, right? Okay. Let's say that's true. Let's say it's true. So what separates me from every other junk removal SEO expert? So ask any of the ones you know. I don't care who it is. Ask them, because I've seen them on lives and they'll straight up tell you. If I'm with you and I'm with you for 6 months and I get no results, I'm not in the top 3, will you give me a refund? Straight up on the live with Paul, they go, no, I would not. On Forget About It's podcast, no, I would not. You ask me, ask Paulie, ask Paul, for example, what happened when his rankings tanked, and even though he screwed it up, I paused his billing. So what happens with me, if you're not in the top 3, I pause your billing, and I will literally say, you know what? Well, pause your billing until I get you in the top 3. I can do one or two things. I can either give you a refund, sir, because you're not in the top 3, or I could do something else. What's that, Mr. Jones? I can, if you will, work for free until you are. And most people be like, there's no way, dude. Why would you work for free for somebody? Well, it's called having some skin in the game. What's having some skin in the game mean? Having some skin in the game means, in other words, I'm not just here to quote unquote make some money from you. I'm also here to help you rank. So let me show you some of our results. So this is just, we've been really hitting it for the past few months, right? Out of all our clients, I have one that's on the top 3. And lo and behold, he is on Duda, so we're converting him. This other new guy, we just got him, and he is in the top, he's top 10 already. These other 2 guys we've already just signed up. Junk 180, he's in top 2. Kale's junk removal, he dominates. I literally get phone calls and messages from this guy every single day. And then I have a bunch more clients that are all signing up. So, when I say we know what the hell we're doing, when it comes to rankings, the proof is in the pudding, as Mr. Yee would say. The proof is in the pudding. I can bring you on, Mr. Yee, if you comment. I'll put you in here too, so we can talk, and you can talk about the results you've had as well. But Mr. Yee, he's been on, and he's told everybody, these are the results William has got me. Whenever he was not with me and he was with another guy, he was getting no results. So that's how I got in the junk removal space. Now, where's my office located at? My office is located in Surrey, Gal City. I'm actually currently in Manila. And this, the office we have there, we have about 80 staff. We actually have payroll. We do walkthroughs. We do team building, coaching, mentorship, meditation, all of which we record, all of which the team uploads. Many times I'm on with them, and sometimes I'm not because I'm doing other things. But nevertheless, we do that. Then another thing we do, so everybody's like, what does William do? Well, William coaches, William mentors, William creates the SOPs, and William watches the rankings, and I'm in contact with our clients. For example, I have group chats with every single one of our clients, every single one of them, right? And then I also lead something called Rank Fortress Academy. So if you're not in Rank Fortress Academy, you need to go join. So what do I mean by that? Go join Rank Fortress Academy. So at the very top right here, you're going to see where it says join the academy. Yeah, truth. Rank Fortress is the real deal. So if you want to go, jump in it, go ahead. I'm all about it. Rank Fortress Academy, if you click on this little button right here, it opens up into Rank Fortress Academy. It's a school. We constantly have these people joining, right? And coming in. But what is this? It is literally a free community. We have 400 plus members. We've just literally started it not too long ago. And all we're doing is I'm dropping information. I drop my courses, drop any teaching or questions, and I engage with my audience there as well. Like this guy, Rick Pierce. Let's just see what he says. He's in. Awesome. And that's about how to get more junk removal leads for your business. And I teach everything. It's not just marketing It's not just local SEO. It's an overall wholesome approach, if you will. Wholesome approach being I teach a little bit of everything from Google ads, Facebook ads, on-page SEO. I have our students teach or our staff teach. This is Mr. Ryan. I teach everything from junk removal SEO, right? And then I also teach virtual assistant. What's the difference between a virtual assistant and outsourcing? And what's white label SEO? I have a course about white label SEO and what that is. What's the common myths and conceptions about white label SEO? All that jazz. So if you're not in the Rank Fortress Academy, just simply go over to rankfortress.com and join it. And another thing that we run, and we run this all over the Philippines, is something called Digital Impact. And this time, we just got done having one in Surigao City in end of or July 1 was the last day, I believe. And we had about 3 days. The next one's in Cebu. And we deal with loads of speakers. Here's some of the speakers we had in the past. But if you're located in the Philippines or in Cebu and you want to come, just hit us up and come on over. Let's see real quick. David, you say, William, do you help people start their own marketing company? I'm honestly, David, I'm getting away from that. To be completely honest with you. Unless a client comes to me that is, if you will, a company that has 10 or more clients or sometimes 50 or more, I am not really taking on any more, if you will, white label clients. I'm tired of the industry, really. Unless you got a lot of clients, I'm not dealing with you. I'd rather deal with junk removal or direct clients, actual business owners. But once again, if you're in Cebu or the Philippines, feel free to join. If you'd like to sponsor our program, go ahead and feel free to click sponsor and sponsor. It'll be December 6th to the 8th. And I'm actually doing this event with my good friend John Signey. So here's John. He's actually the guy that helped get me started, like I told you guys. That is Mr. John Signey. So without him, there would be no Rank Fortress. There would be no Digital Impact. There would be no making a huge change in these guys' lives. So my team here, this is some of my team. You'll always see me posting, if you will, about my team. And if you go into any of my pages on my website, generally speaking, every single place, you generally have the team, right? About us, if you go in there about us, you'll see a lot of the team. That's my beautiful wife, Rowena. And this is my right hand, Lynn Denary. She's the project manager. Geraldine's project manager. Rika's assistant project manager. Oli's an assistant project manager. Gwen is customer service, and Ricky used to be human resources. He actually is not anymore. But then we have all of our team, and I love my team. They're like my little minions, but and we miss them whenever we're not around them. But that's just some of them. That's not even all of them. And then we also, another thing we do is for agencies, since you're asking, David, we'll also do virtual assistant services. So if you ever want to know, well, what do you do with virtual assistant services, William? Let me show you. And if you have any questions, just drop them below and I will answer them best I can. But if you go under virtual assistants here on our website, you'll see this is just some of our VA team. This is Erica, this is Reynold, this is Jade, etc. This is Rofa, this is Jericho, all of them. Okay. So this is us in our house. Is attached to our office, is actually attached to our house. There's 99, but our office is attached to our house and everything. So this is some of the team. 99, my wife. This is not fake. A lot of people will show you, they won't even show you their team. I'll do a video walkthrough and everything. But so if you need a VA, I don't care what it is. Executive virtual assistant, local SEO, Google My Business, on page, off page, graphic design, video editing, lead generation, web design, content, go high level, email marketing, branding, data entry, Google ads, Facebook ads, e-commerce, social media management. We literally do all of it. So if you ever want to talk about virtual assistants, simply click on the call and click on speak to William, book a call with me, or message me on Facebook. I will gladly get on a call with you at any time. If you ever need help, you can reach out to me. You can call me, anything. So also, if you ever want to say, okay, well, William, that's nice and everything, you have all these pictures, maybe you're just some dude that, it's just like one of them. They outsource. You're outsourcing. You don't live in the Philippines. Just go look at my timeline. You can see all of it. We're actually doing right now a weight loss challenge with our team. And weight loss challenge, we're actually, whoever wins, you'll see us post on that too, but whoever wins actually gets to go to Boracay with me and my wife. And we have, let me see if I can find it real quick. We have the results of that, but I've already lost about, I think 14 kilos, about 30 pounds or something. But we've been doing it for a bit. But after that, we're actually going to be going to Boracay, whoever's the winner and stuff. And we do birthday parties and all that stuff. But here's the results right now. And we're getting our team involved and all losing weight together and stuff and pushing each other. Because we also have a gym at the house that some of our team goes out and works out in. This guy, I mean, like, proud of you, Lorenzo, was 80.2. He's already lost almost 4 kilos. It's about 8 pounds. You're looking good. John Mark and Hazel and all these guys, Jericho and Nikki. So they're losing a lot of weight and stuff. But if you ever want to see what let's say an office tour, you ever want to see what that looks like, just go to rankfortress.com and click on office tour. And then you can watch this whole office tour. And this literally goes from start to end, inside and out. That's my house in Surrey, City. This is part of the office, all of it. So, and we go through the entire thing inside and out. That is Lovely leading it. That's her name. Yes, Lovely. And she goes through the whole office. So we are the real freaking deal. We run the agency. We live in the Philippines. And we train our staff. I actually do live. Besides my lives, I do live training. I do conferences. Then this wall here, how many of you know what a dream wall is? So a dream wall is essentially, we'll go back to it, but the dream wall is essentially where, in this case, where we say, hey, team, I want to know, why am I working so hard? What a vision board is what are your dreams? What are your goals? And I'm going to work my hardest to help you guys achieve it. And so this is why when I say me and my wife, we're not just about us. We're about our team and how we can build our team and how we can make an impact and lead with purpose in the Philippines and help change the lives of the community where we're at. So, and then of course, you're going to see my office, and then Lynn is my right hand, and this is Rose. I do coaching and mentorship and training, then HR, and then our podcast studio. So the whole thing is here. You can feel free to watch it. My team leaders. So if you ever have questions as what we do and where we do it at, this is where we're at. We're the real deal. So if you have any questions ever, feel free to reach out to me. That's my son. That's our generator. So we got the whole shebang. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Hit me up on rankfortress.com. Book a call. I don't care if it's you want to ask how to move to the Philippines or take a look at your SEO, do an audit, whatever it is. If you need help, I'm here to help you. It is not all about money, okay? Going to events is not going to help you in your business. You need someone that will actually give a shit about your business, can look at your website, tell you what you're doing right, tell you what you're doing wrong, and let's fix it and get you moving in the right direction, okay? So without that further ado, I'm going to go ahead and take an end. And if you have any questions, like I said, reach out to me. I appreciate it. Brother MJ Lopez is my mentor. He's here in the Philippines. So I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I've been going live every day and doing podcasts. So trying to follow in your footsteps. Appreciate you. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and go, and I will see you guys another time.
Presenting your one-stop shop for SEO and virtual assistant services. SEO, GMB, link building, content creation, web design, virtual assistants, and more. Junk removal SEO experts. The best white label platform for SEOs, agencies, and freelancers.
So many SEOs that hate me and say that I'm stealing their methods. They bitching and cry, labeling me SEO Black Hat. Was a nobody, now I'm at the top. Most wanted, most loved, bad business owners, and hated by most SEO opponents. You think you're an SEO god, but you're an SEO fraud. Guess I'm the SEO devil, shouting fuck the SEO guys. White hat SEO doesn't make sense, going with the goody goodies. Up in heaven dressed in white, I like black Tims, I like black hoodies. Fake SEOs up there probably had me on some real strict shit. No sleeping all day, no getting my dick licked, hanging out with